Hey, it's Mckay, and before I start anything, warning, spoilers for everything from seasons 1 to 4 Game of Thrones. Hey, it's Mckay. Today's video will be the breakdown of the Game of Thrones Season 5 trailer video just released. Okay, let's get straight into some of the really big stuff I just pinpointed out of this entire trailer. Right away, I was surprised how they put the flashback of young Cersei in the trailer. We all knew it was coming from the casting list of those who had seen it, so we knew that was expected to come, but we didn't really expect them to put it in the trailer. Plus, this scene will give you a huge amount of knowledge into the background of why Cersei hates Tyrion, is very protective of her children, and is really wary of them having the crown. So the reason that young Cersei is pricking her finger is because Mckay the Frog, a fortune teller she was visiting to find out who she was going to marry, has to taste her blood to find her fortune, so that's why she's cutting her finger, not because she's just like a suicidal maniac or something like that. And I also believe this scene of these two people walking is actually just Cersei and her friend going to Mckay the Frog, so, you know, it has that whole flashback feel to it and, like, you know, mystical feel to it, so I feel like that's what they're going to be doing for that scene. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain that's what they're going to be doing. Speaking of things that Cersei doesn't like, here is Tommen and Margaery's wedding. Well, hopefully this wedding is less like the other weddings previously in the series, but you never know, it could be just as bad. And it'd be really funny twist if they just chucked in like a massive massacre through all of King's Landing. I would really be just laughing my head off at that. As you can see here, Margaery is kind of planning to do something that she's not supposed to with Tommen, which would be very interesting. I'm sure Cersei will majorly disagree with this. Plus, what I really like is that hopefully this season, they're going to bring out Margaery's true character, how she can manipulate and deceive people really easily, and how powerful she is and graceful she is in like these kind of scenarios. So it's going to be really awesome if they bring that out. I really hope they do. This is indicating that they will, so I've got my fingers crossed. From what I can tell, lots of people were shocked about the scene because they're just really fast and really quick and no one could really understand what it was. But after looking through it with the HD version after a while, I kind of realized what it was. This is obviously the snake of the Martells, and it's saying as a warning to King's Landing and Cersei for what they've done. Obviously, they're looking for revenge, like after Oberyn's death. As you can see, his wife is going on a rampage all over the place, because that's what I believe she's going to do. She's going to replace one of the sand snakes and all that kind of stuff, who's trying to revenge Oberyn, and I believe that she's going to do this year, because they've already established her character and everything, and it's going to be much easier for the show just to give her this position, and it's much more realistic for like a revengeful wife or like companion to be like this, and it's going to be pretty awesome to see her just kick some badass stuff. So the thing that Cersei is looking at is the snake of Martell holding what I believe is Myrcella's chain of like identification or something there, one of her jewelry pieces there, to remind her that they've got Myrcella still. So, you know, that's something that's going to be really important, and it's going to start building this huge tension between the Martells and the Lannisters and King's Landing and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder where that's going to go. Hopefully we'll find out this season. So I think because of the worries that Cersei has about Myrcella, that's why she's sending Jaime to Dorne. That's why you could see him in Dorne with a whole bunch of leaked photos, and this here right now, which confirms he's going to Dorne to try and look for her or something like that. I think that Jaime will be replacing Aerys Oakheart, which was one of the Kingsguard knights that's supposed to protect her and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be replaced by Jaime and Bronn, which will also go with them. That's going to be a really awesome, cool relationship they hopefully bond between there. Everything that Bronn says is cool and witty, so it's going to be amazing anyway. You know it's going to be really interesting. Speaking of Cersei's worries, you can see a lot more of Tyrion now. In this scene here, I believe he's either arriving to Meereen or in Pentos, one of those two, and then he's just kind of like getting into the whole atmosphere of the slaves and the mid-market, and they're kind of just blending in. I didn't think that Varys would be traveling with him, because Varys wasn't traveling with him in the books, but this is going to be cool, nice change, and hopefully good bonding with their relationship. Varys and him had a very good relationship in the show previously as well, in King's Landing, so this could work out pretty well for them. So from all the indications from the books and from this trailer, we can see that Tyrion is heading straight to Meereen, missing out a whole massive section, which was in the books, which might indicate that was very unimportant. If you guys want to talk about that in the conversation, make sure to put spoiler tags for people that don't know anything about that. But obviously we can see that Tyrion's heading to Meereen, which is going to be quite a violent situation that I've seen from a lot of the other different clips. At first I thought that these masked men would be the Sons of the Harpy, but I also believe that they will be the warriors that Dany makes to protect her as well. They also wear masks in the books, and they could be trying to stop the Sons of the Harpy. I'm not sure, but obviously there's going to be a whole bunch of growing violence happening here, and Dany's going to have to increase her tension and authority control over them, otherwise it's going to be a massive civil war within Meereen. So now for this next, you have to look pretty closely to realize that this dragon's not actually Drogon. It's actually the green dragon, which is a lot bigger than he was last season. Probably even bigger than what Drogon was last season. So if they're that big, you can imagine how huge Drogon's going to be when, or if they show him in this season, which I believe they will. But, oh my god, these dragons they seem so wondrous because they really have no limit to how far they can grow. Like, you can stunt their growth by training them up like Dany did, but they still grow and grow if they have enough food to keep growing. So, I want to see how powerful and big Drogon's going to be. That's going to be really interesting to see. So there were quite a lot of hints in the previous season with this relationship between Grey Worm and her really growing heaps, so we didn't really think it was going to happen because he was a eunuch and stuff like that, but obviously this is confirming that there's going to be more than just a looky weird pervy relationship between them. So hopefully that develops into something actually cool, but personally myself, I'm not that psyched about it. Like, it's a very unimportant adaptation. I prefer them to just build on the big main storyline and do these side stories, but other people might enjoy them. I don't know. If you want more of this, I don't really care. It's as long as it doesn't take up too much screen time and doesn't stop the growth of the entire plot. Now finally we get some more insight into the awesome storyline of Maisie Williams, or Arya Stark. Here you can see her outside the House of the Black and White, which is pretty awesome. It's like the kind of different form, like it's where Jack and Hagar kind of came from, the whole assassins thing. I really hope to see her more developed to that. Plus she has to kind of give up more on her past and stuff like that. As you can see her holding Needle, which is like the only evidence of her previous life, with that whole overlay thing that they had with the High Sparrow speaking in the background, which is pretty awesome. I really want to see more about Maisie, but you know, they only put a bit in, so it leaves more just to the show, so it's going to be more fun watching the show as well, so you know, it's not giving away too much. So what I could tell from this is a huge amount of activity is going to be happening in the Wall. Like, and a lot of the season will be devoted to the Wall, which is pretty awesome storyline. That's going to develop really fast with heaps of Stannis scenes, heaps of Jon Snow, and a whole bunch of advantage of that whole area, which is going to be really interesting. This is when the whole Wall gets super fun, super interesting, and I really like this in the books. So hopefully the show can top that. It's going to be amazing. As you can see here, I think this one here is the Lord of Bones with his mask off. So it could be someone else, it could be just like a normal, you know, wildling or whatever it is, but it seems there's going to be lots of fighting with the wildlings and against the wildlings. I don't know what's going to be happening here, but obviously there's going to be a lot of conflict here. This next scene, I believe, is Hardhome, which is going to be a raid on Hardhome, which is one of the wildling villages. I believe the remnants of the wildling army went there to hide out, and obviously the Night's Watch doesn't want them there, because either they're going to grow the White Walker army, or they're going to attack them, or have a threat like that. So I think they're going in to take them out, or to rescue them, or some kind of thing like that. So there's going to be pretty interesting around there as well. Another thing that I noticed was that Jon Snow was leading the charge to whatever enemy they were fighting. So this could imply that Jon Snow is going to be higher up in the ranks of the Night's Watch or something like that. So this is going to be pretty interesting for him as well. Finally, another major thing that catch my eye for this entire breakdown was that this one little tiny scene with the crow landing on the meat. Now, seems very unimportant to most people I talk this about, but it's really important to me because this shows how the old magic and that whole Bran storyline is still there. It's reminding you of that. Even though Bran and Hodor and all that awesome characters won't be in this season because they weren't casted, but this would also mean it's like a reminder that it's still going to be processing and still going to be growing on that. Maybe more through Jon Snow than Bran this time. Thanks for watching my Game of Thrones Season 5 trailer breakdown. If you guys have any questions about Game of Thrones, its breakdown, or any other new stuff that's coming out and stuff about me, then go to my Twitter right now and ask me that question with the hashtag MckayShouldBeKing. I will try to put out a Q&A soon after that once I've got enough questions to write. If there's not enough questions, I won't do them. I'll probably just reply to them on Twitter or on the comment section below, but you know, if there's enough of them, I'll do a Q&A video for you guys, okay? So look out for that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.